Sanguine TV, power to transform lives.
Welcome to Family Life with Mama Rita. Last week we handled temperaments and parenting. Temperaments and parenting. And I spoke about not engaging in comparisons when it comes to your children. Don't compare your children with other siblings or other friends or other mates of your children. We also looked at not trying to force your children to be what they are not. Your child goes to a party and doesn't want to dance. Don't force them to dance by all means. They don't feel like singing. Don't force them to be, the center of attraction. That's not your child. Don't force them. And then number 3, I said, encourage your children. Encourage them as much as you can. Where you think that what you want them to do will help them, please encourage them. Last week I was talking about how I did encourage my daughter with bicycle riding, but when it came to learning how to drive, I really, really did encourage. So please, let's encourage our children. And then I also said that the negatives you see about your children today, don't ever think that they would always be the same. There will be a change tomorrow, depending on what you do today. So stop the nagging, stop the complaining, stop being too hyper with your children. They will change and you'll be surprised. Don't get too frustrated in the training up of your children. And we looked at the sanguine parent and the sanguine child, the sanguine parent and the choleric child, the sanguine parent and the melancholy and the phlegmatic child. And then we also looked at the choleric parent, the choleric parent and the choleric child, the choleric parent and the phlegmatic child, and the melancholic child and the sanguine child. Before we continue, I want to give a shout to Reverend and Reverend Mrs. Ebenezer Asheson. Reverend and Mrs. Ebenezer Asheson, I fell in love with you again last week. You did so well, and I want to give a clap to you. God bless you. You are certainly going to come back to this show. Today we want to look at the melancholic parent, or the perfect melancholy parent. And then we also want to look at the peaceful phlegmatic parent. So the perfect melancholic parents are clean, they are neat, they are talented, they are dedicated, they are sensitive, and they are sincere. They are clean, they are neat, they are talented, they are dedicated, they are sensitive, and they are sincere. We want to look at the melancholy parent, or the melancholic parent, who is perfect, and the sanguine child. The sanguine child needs a lot of fun at home. So the melancholic or the melancholy parent must allow the sanguine plenty of fun at home. And I said it last week, If you don't allow fun for the sanguine child, trust me, they will look for fun elsewhere. Unfortunately, where they will look for fun, you won't like it. So please, the melancholic parent is not a fun-loving person, but because your child is a fun-loving person, you must create love and fun at home. Help them develop their discipline without being highly critical. We said it that sanguines are not very, very organized. So as a melancholy parent, you would have to teach the child to be very organized. But then, in trying to do that, give them rewards for a job well done. And give them plenty of opportunities to be creative. Don't be too hard on them because you are the, very, very well, organized person. We are looking at the melancholic parent and the sanguine child. There can be a balance with each other. The parent helps the child develop organization, and the child brings a sense of fun in the relationship. Once you have a child who is a sanguine, the child who is a sanguine helps the parent who is melancholic to have fun. Now we are looking at the choleric child. So we are looking at the sanguine parent, the melancholy parent, and the choleric child. The choleric child needs a lot of credit and praise for their hard work. Please, as a melancholy parent, don't expect perfection. Melancholics likes a lot of perfection. They are perfect people, but unfortunately the choleric is not like that. So don't expect that from your child, but praise his efforts and his initiative when he does what is good. Be flexible and fair with choices when you can. Give him a sense of control. Cholerics like to control. So let him have something, let him do something that he feels like he's in control. Either he's in charge of the kitchen, he's in charge of the dining table, he's in charge of the dogs, he's in charge of his little kids, he's in charge of the TV room. Make him in charge of something. Once the choleric child is in charge, they enjoy their surrounding. The melancholic parent and the choleric child share the ability to be organized and are on schedule. The choleric hardly are late, and melancholics are hardly late. So they share this bonding, and they are so good. The melancholic child, both the melancholic child and the parents have ideas. They are both neat. They both like to organize the home, so they move around so well. But the only thing the parent will have to do for the child is teach them to express their feelings. Why? Because they bottle up so much. They keep things inside of them. Mommy does something to them, they won't talk. Daddy does something to them, they won't talk. Somebody at school does something to them, they won't talk. They harbor things inside of them so much. So you must encourage them to express their feelings. Talk about what is going on inside of them. The parent and the child bond so well because they both enjoy acts and they both enjoy order and routine. They like to do this one first. from doing first, they move to the second, they move to the third, because they are so organized in their thoughts and their way of doing things, they bond so well. The melancholic parents and the phlegmatic child. The child, that is the phlegmatic child, needs plenty of encouragement. Unfortunately, encouragement does not come naturally with a melancholy parent. And because it doesn't come naturally for them, you must make an effort. The melancholic parent must make an effort to encourage the phlegmatic child. Otherwise, you have a lot of problems bonding as parent and child. Encourage them to reach their potential by praising them, and don't let them slide by just being quiet. Unfortunately, the melancholic or the melancholy is introvert, and then the phlegmatic is introvert. They are both introverted. So if the parent doesn't make the effort to bring something out of the phlegmatic child, trust me, both of them will be there and they won't talk. There will be no communication going on between them. There won't be chatting going on between them. The phlegmatic child doesn't know what is going on in the life of the melancholic parent, and the melancholic parent doesn't know what is going on with the phlegmatic child. So as much as you can, especially for the parents, make an effort to draw conversations out of the phlegmatic child. Make an effort to sit around the child, to bring out conversations. If you are the type that picks your child from school, when you pick him from school and you are coming, draw conversations out of him. Find out how his day was in the classroom, how the things go on, and find out what he was taught. On the playground, find out how he coped with other friends of his and other mates of his. If you don't make an effort, trust me, the phlegmatic child will stay indoors whole day. And unfortunately, the melancholic parent will also stay indoors whole day. So between the two of you, because you are introverts, the parent will have to pull something out of the child to get something out of him. Between the melancholic parent and the phlegmatic child, both of them enjoy a peaceful and relaxed atmosphere. So because they both enjoy a peaceful and a relaxed atmosphere, they seem to enjoy each other very, very well. Now we are moving to the peaceful phlegmatic parent. Oh my God, last week there were so many questions about husbands who were phlegmatic and were not making moves and all that. Today we are looking at the peaceful phlegmatic parent. The peaceful phlegmatic parents are relaxed. They are patient. They are sympathetic. And they are agreeable. Hey, phlegmatic parents, they agree with everything. Everything the child brings home. When you bring good reports, they will agree with you. You bring bad reports, they agree with you. They love their children the way they are. I mean, that is the phlegmatic parent for you. They are so relaxed. They are very patient with their children. They are sympathetic towards themselves and their children. And they agree on everything their children do. Now we are looking at the phlegmatic parent and the sanguine child. Phlegmatic parent and the sanguine child. Neither the parent or the child are born organizers. So the parent must develop the skill and model it. The phlegmatic parent is not an organized person. Neither is the sanguine child an organized person. And because the sanguine child is not an organized person, the phlegmatic parents must be organized so that he can model it to the child. He can train up the child to be organized or teach the child to be organized. You can imagine if the phlegmatic parent doesn't learn how to be organized, the child grows up to even be worse than the parent. But the parents must be able to be organized so that they can model it for the child. Also, they need to set behavioral standards and stick to it. Why? Because the sanguine child does anything, and they are very, very quick and easy to charm their way out of responsibilities. So if they know that their parents or one parent is a typical phlegmatic and they don't care what happens and the parent agrees with everything they do, you know, sanguines know how to charm. They will charm their way into not doing anything at home. So the phlegmatic parent will need to know this and know how to train the child accordingly. The phlegmatic parent and the sanguine child both have a sense of humor. Sanguines have humor, phlegs have humor. So when both of them meet, they enjoy having a good time. They appreciate each other's company. So the phlegmatic parent and the sanguine child get along so well with their humor. We are looking at the phlegmatic parent and the choleric child. Hey! The phlegmatic parent and the choleric child. The phlegmatic parent needs to establish appropriate guidelines for discipline and stick with them, or the choleric child will attempt to run the household. My darling, choleric children are go-getters. They are bossy. They know how to get their way around and bully everybody around. So if the phlegmatic parent is not firm, if you don't let the choleric child know that you are the boss, you are the parent, and check him like that, trust me, 2 weeks ago, we had a report that a 6-year-old choleric child has already been suspended 3 times. And it tells me that this child has phlegmatic parents who do not care. They cause their child to have their way. And if you don't train them and they have their way with the negatives, trust me, they will take over in class. They will bully their friends, bully their teachers, insult teachers, and they think that they can get away with it like they get away with their parents. So as much as the parents can, they must establish appropriate guidelines for discipline and stick to it. If you know that the child must sleep at 9, you need to stick to it, that at 9 you must go to bed. If you don't, trust me, if you know that chocolate is not good for them, or they are supposed to take a bar of chocolate or a piece of chocolate a day, stick to it. If today they sleep at 8, tomorrow they sleep at 9, another time they sleep at 10, they will learn to have their way. So it's very, very important to set guidelines for the choleric child. And when you set guidelines for them, please make sure you stick to it. The child needs to have some age-appropriate choices that they can properly handle. Age-appropriate guidelines. In other words, you know what the child must do at age 6. Make sure that at age 6, they are doing what they are supposed to do. You know that 6-year-olds are not supposed to be watching films at 12 o'clock. Stick to it. If you don't stick to it, when they are 10, there will be bosses at home. These children can bully you, and they will wait when there are guests in the house. That is when they will embarrass you so well. So make sure that whatever guidelines of discipline you plan, you stick to it. The child also needs to be praised for their accomplishments. Unfortunately, phlegmatic children, parents don't care. They are so relaxed, But when it comes to training up of the choleric child, you need to be very careful. Phlegmatic parents and choleric children can complement each other, but only when the naturally easygoing parent of the that is the phlegmatic parent, establishes their parental authority and maintains it. So as a phlegmatic parent, make sure that you are establishing authority. And don't wait, my darling. Don't wait for when the child is 6, or when the child is 10, or when the child is 12. Start from day 1. Even as babies, choleric babies can bully. So right from day 1, set things well so that they can follow. We are looking at the phlegmatic parent and the melancholic child. Both can suffer from lack of communication, since both of them are naturally quiet. Just like we discussed